To a more serious topic, the recent and devastating Los Angeles fires have underscored the critical importance of disaster preparedness for organizations. While this is crucial for every organization, plans are often shelved and forgotten until they're urgently needed. In these critical moments, AV technology is instrumental in enhancing the effectiveness of emergency operations centers. So right now, we are pleased to have Sarah Cox joined by Joe Wei, Executive Director of Digital Spaces at UCLA, to discuss his recent experience managing the response to this unprecedented event on campus. Sarah.
Thanks so much, Sam. Yes, as Sam just said, I am joined in the virtual studio by Joe. Joe, welcome.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. This is a deep honor to be able to share a little bit about what we've been going through.
Well, thanks so much for coming in and sharing this story with everyone. So I guess let's start with the first question. At what point did you realize that the fires were more serious and the situation was escalating?
Yeah, you know, it's interesting because on that day, on that kind of Wednesday, was actually our new chancellor's first day.
No.
And at 7 a.m., he sends an email out to all of the faculty, staff, and students as a welcome, and here we are, and I'm happy to be your chancellor. And by that afternoon, he's closing campus in order to send us online because of the wildfires.
Wow,
like,
what a first day.
How about that for a first day of work, right? That's just
incredible.
crazy.
And that's the thing. So, I mean, there's some lessons that can be learned. And in terms of helping other colleagues, other colleges and organizations, what are some of those key lessons that you experienced?
Yeah, it's interesting because as a lot of people know, I mean, 4 years ago, I lost my own home to a house fire. And when I saw that ravaging through and seeing neighborhoods just disappear, I felt it, right?
Yeah.
And when we get this call on Saturday that we are now going to open an emergency operations center, we show up and my team shows up and we realize this is a beautiful building that was done 12 years ago,
Yeah.
right? But there's no Zoom. There's no UC, all is beautiful, and next thing we know, we're pulling like displays on carts in on a Saturday, trying to figure this out and ripping other rooms apart. And the lesson was like, you never realize how you need support in an emergency situation until you're in the situation, and that's when it's now too late. Right? So being able to say, hey, you know what? Going forward, we're going to do an annual audit.
Right.
What does this room and this emergency operations center have so that if we have to spin this up overnight, which we literally had to do, right? Can we now be effective with that, right?
Yeah.
And can we be able to serve our students and staff and faculty, 60,000 people who are relying on us.
Absolutely. So this is a great question then. So why is it important to have high quality communication tools in place before an emergency?
Exactly. Like what you have to realize is when you go into it, you're always thinking that you're probably okay, right? And this is one of the things that we noticed from our team was in order to respond to the emergency and the wildfires, is we weren't just running a control center, right? We actually had to run town halls. We have national branding, right? We have things that we know that our chancellor is going to get on and he's going to have to do a press conference, and it's not just going out to the students and staff.
Yeah.
It's going to get picked up by CNN. It's going to get picked up by all the news networks, right? And we are a staple of that community, right? And you have that, so you go, okay, our emergency operations is not about showing up and installing a room and walking away. We had our production staff running our town halls for our students and our parents of our students and our staff. I think we ran four town halls where we were actually there helping them, and a tech on site
Wow.
as well as monitoring the Zoom online and the virtual thing, because this is important. There are people's lives impacted here. And it really hit me in that moment, right?
Yeah.
That we often just think about installing, but we don't necessarily think about impact,
Yeah.
right?
I mean, Joe, it's an absolutely incredible story. Thank you so much for sharing. I'm sure a lot of people will learn a lot from that. Be prepared, be ready. Thank you so much, Joe, for joining
Thank
us
you so
today in
much
the
for having me.
studio.